Steelers Nation. Steelers Nation. Get those terrible towels ready. Yins are now tuned in to the Kold Steel Show. Live on YouTube. A Steelers vidcast, not afraid to keep it real. And definitely not for those jagoff homers.
Welcome to the NFL.
Unfiltered Pittsburgh Steelers fan commentary and your source for everything black and gold. Now, here's your host, Kold Steel. Kold Steel.
Let's go!
Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Kold Steel. And today is going to be one of those days that Steelers Nation is going to remember, probably for the rest of our lives, as Ben Roethlisberger, aka Big Ben, has semi-announced his retirement. I know some people, including Challenger 16 here in the chat, don't seem to think so, but I am here to tell you that is what it appears to be. And of course, I got something in my goddamn eye. That is what it appears to be. We're going to get right into it shortly. I see we got the Fiend in the building. He says, Ben is finally retiring. Yeah. And I know some people are probably curious to know how I feel about it, because I really haven't been too active on social media today regarding that. Made a few shots here and there, but what do I think about it? It's pretty simple. In one side of the coin, I guess you could say I'm kind of relieved to know that this is more than likely the last two games that we're going to have Ben Roethlisberger as the Steelers quarterback. And I share that feeling pretty alone, to be honest. Not too many people are on the same boat as me in that regard. What did I just do? All right, we're already fucking up here. Not too many people feel that way. I really got to change that that button on my keyboard. Steel Twin says, thank you, Ben, but thank God. And that's kind of where I'm at. I kind of feel like at this point, man, it's a relief in a sense, because I'm one of those people that feels like for the last, man, honestly, probably decade, Ben has he's pretty much had this franchise by hostage in a lot of senses. A lot of offensive coordinators have been removed from this team because of Ben Roethlisberger. A lot of players have sought to move on from the team because of Ben Roethlisberger, one of which including Antonio Brown. Say what you want about Antonio Brown, but that is the situation among others over the years. And to be quite honest, even with Ben Roethlisberger and all those great players that he played with, especially during the Killer Bee era, he was unable to take us deep into the playoffs. Now, before you get all pissed off in the chat, I am 100% aware that a lot of that blame goes towards the Steelers defense. But I guess it proves my point that Ben Roethlisberger cannot take this team to a Super Bowl by himself. And furthermore, proves that when I say defenses win championships, well, there you go. So how do I feel about Ben in a nutshell? I am relieved to know that these will be the last two games we see number 7 suit up on the field, our Hall of Fame quarterback. And honestly, I'm kind of looking forward to the future, even though some people feel like the future is going to be grim and dark, and all of us Steelers fans are going to be on suicide watch heading into the 2022 season. But me personally, I am not ready to give up on Mason Rudolph, and as you can see below, because I didn't get a chance to put out the topics, things have changed in the last 24 hours. Is Mason really that bad? That is a question we're going to ask and an answer we're going to look for. Danielle, what is going on? Unger to the max. We got Big Dad in the building. Oh, boy. Real Tree is in the building. Steel Maiden is in the building. Steel Twins. Oh, I already read his. Yeah. And Trey says the NFL just posted top 5 rushers. Najee is 5th. About time we see him there. Yeah, his rookie season, I saw he was getting a lot of shit this week, which I don't know why. Najee Harris is going to surpass 1,000 yards as a rookie. And in my book, with that offensive line, that is a win. And we'll come back around to Najee Harris. All right, I am unprepared tonight. We'll come back to Najee Harris when we get into the Mason Rudolph talk. But I want to get into the Big Ben discussions because that is the main topic for tonight. There it is. And I know a lot of you, if not all of you, already know this. But according to Jerry, he says, breaking, Ben Roethlisberger said today that Monday night's game against the Cleveland Browns is likely going to be the final game at Heinz Field. His first public indication he will retire after the season. Now, let's not just base this off of a tweet from a verifiable source. I know some people feel like Ben didn't actually announce retirement, which he didn't. However, I think he kind of made it clear and hinted towards it. And I don't know if I'll get copyrighted strike for this, but in fact, is the audio even going to work on here? Let's see. I'll have to give it a try. You guys let me know in chat if you can hear the audio when I play this, but
right out the gate. You know what? I don't ever speak in definites or guarantees. That's just not what I've ever done or who I am. But, you know, looking at the bigger picture, I would say that all signs are pointing to this could be it. Regular season, that is.
And see right there, him saying this could be it. I think that is all you need to know. In addition to the reports that came out earlier this week that Ben invited former teammates to show up for Monday night's game. I think all those things combined, in addition to all of our thoughts that this has definitely got to be Ben's last season. I'm pretty sure at this point, this is as much as we're going to know until the season is actually over in regards to is Ben retiring. Now, there is a small chance that, and this is going to really piss people off, but there's a chance Ben doesn't retire and goes to another team. Now, I don't know which team's going to want Ben Roethlisberger is, you know, at this point in his career, but I would not be surprised if he was offered a contract elsewhere. If he decides to Brett Favre and move on to another team. But either way, man, I've been on record many times. I'm not going to get into it again in regards to how I feel about Ben. But I'll say this. I'm going to enjoy Monday night's game as I will be streaming for that game. Watching Ben Roethlisberger one last time in Heinz. Regardless, I'm going to take my feelings about Ben, personal feelings, throw them out the window and just try to enjoy this game as it is his last. And the Steelers, believe it or not, are still technically fighting for a playoff spot. Now, I want to dive into chat here and see what you guys are thinking in regard to what Ben had to say. I suppose I should let the rest of this play out real quick.
I know we still have a chance to potentially get a playoff game there if things fall our way and we take care of business and things have to happen. But in the grand scheme of things, in terms of regular seasons, signs are pointing that way. This could be it.
Regular seasons. Ben said regular seasons. Now, I think what he meant by that was the team could potentially make it to the playoffs. And there is a scenario where if they somehow win the division, I believe that gives us another home game in the postseason. So There it is, man. That's the announcement that came out today. That is what everybody is pretty much talking about on Twitter and elsewhere. But now I want to see what you guys have to say in chats in regards to this announcement and more. I see that Jacob says he's going to be at the game Monday night. I'm kind of jealous. Me and the Twins went to the Titans game, so it's technically the second to his last game. But looking back, I kind of wish we got tickets for the Browns game. Because, you know, for multiple reasons. One, it's a division game. And I think this game is going to be very important for both teams. But we'll dig into that a little bit later when we get into the official preview. Justin says, I never been to a Steelers game with Ben playing. Oh, man, that's crazy. I've been to a few. Leedy says, but Ben even said that he doesn't want to play for another. There you go. There you go. I'm just saying, in the realm of all possibilities, you just never know what could happen in the offseason. You honestly don't. I mean, Ben could say one thing and do another. You just don't know. Chad says, what's up, Kold Steel? I hope Big Ben retires after Monday night's game. And plus, he needs to be with his family, and him and Tom Brady have the same amount of concussions. It would be interesting if the Steelers, for whatever reason, lose to the Browns, which I personally don't think is going to happen. I just can't imagine Ben's last home game is a loss. But if for whatever reason we lose to the Browns, I think it would be smart for Mike Tomlin to have Mason Rudolph play in the Baltimore game just to give him some more reps. I mean, it would just be smart as the team's going to be moving into 2022 at that point. Because a loss against the Browns, that's it. That is it for the Steelers. Hell, I think if we beat the Browns and lose to the Ravens, it's still it for us. So, not looking very fruitful for this team. We didn't put ourselves in a good position to make it into the postseason to give Ben his official last ride, or to give him that Jerome Bettis type of retirement. And it is unfortunate. I've given Ben so much shit on my channel, even today, you know, tweeting. But again, I feel like personally, I have to put that stuff aside and just embrace these last moments. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much I hate Ben in regards to a leader and the things he's did off field over the years, when he was on that field, he was very productive. I don't think he's responsible for the Super Bowls that we won. I will argue that until I'm dead. I personally feel like our defenses is what gave us those. But regardless of that, Big Ben still had a Hall of Fame career. You can argue that other players around him over the years helped get him to that point. But one thing's for sure, when it comes to Ben, especially in that class against guys like Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, he is superior to those guys and definitely the best quarterback of that draft. And arguably, because believe it or not, some people seem to think Bradshaw's the top quarterback in Steelers history because of the Super Bowls. Statistically, though, Ben is our best quarterback of all time. But for the sake of the franchise, for the sake of even Ben's health, this is best, not only for business, but for Big Ben's life going forward and heading into life after football. And I'm looking forward to, honestly, seeing what this team does after Ben. I've been waiting to see how they address the holes. And I personally think Mason Rudolph, which I think is a great way to transition into that topic. I think Mason Rudolph would be a great transitional quarterback. He's a guy that you could have around for a season or two while you search for your next franchise quarterback. And hell, you give Mason Rudolph an entire season next year. You fix the offensive line issues. You've plugged in some of the holes on the defense. Najee Harris has an even better season than he did in his rookie year because of the line. And having that experience, that helps Mason Rudolph. I don't know if you bring James Washington back because of his connection with Mason. I don't know what's going to happen in that situation. But I honestly think the best scenario for this team going into next year is giving the keys to the kingdom to Mason Rudolph to, one, see what he's capable of doing. Because as you can look on the screen, I pulled up his stats. People have been judged. He's been in the league 3 years and he's only played 17 games, which prior to this year would have been a season of stats. And overall, he has 2,366 passing yards, 16 touchdowns, and 11 picks. Again, not the greatest looking stats. However, you don't want to go out and get another aging quarterback. I know some people like the idea of Aaron Rodgers. Myself, way earlier in the season, the idea of that was so intriguing. But you bring a guy like Aaron Rodgers into this fold with him taking up he's going to take up some cap space because he's a veteran. He's a proven quarterback. You're left with, depending on the draft, and we saw how this team drafted the offensive line last offseason. It was not very pretty. By no means. Let's be clear here. The Green experiment has been a failure at this point. Week 17, Green is not a center in this league. Maybe you can move him to guard. Some people would say, like Steelers Depot, shout out to them. I remember them tweeting, you move a bad center to a guard position, now you have a bad guard. There could be some truth to that. And Moore is far from being where we want to see him. Now, granted, he is a rookie. Both of them are. But there's patterns you can follow. And this is why, if you go back on my channel, earlier this season, when everyone was calling me the most negative content creator on this platform, once again, and I'm not trying to toot my own fucking horn, but no one else is going to do it for me. But it's starting to look like I'm a little bit right at this point. I said well early into the season, just looking at the patterns, seeing, and I talked about this in the offseason last year when we failed to beat the Browns in the playoffs. I said if this offense does the same kind of play calling they did last year, we were not going to make it far. And sure enough, that's what they did. Short, dink and dunk passes. It could be 3rd and 20 and Ben's coming off the line throwing 3 yards from the line of scrimmage. It is just not going to get it done. And these are the results we've been given. But getting back on Mason Rudolph, man, I feel like we need to stop judging him so much and just allow this transition to happen. Because bringing a guy like Aaron Rodgers, as I said, that's a huge salary cap hit. It's not going to leave you with much room to sign some quality offensive linemen. You got to remember, good offensive linemen are not cheap, and this team's going to have to step out of their comfort zone. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure majority of you guys watching and majority of the people that are on Twitter that are Steelers fans would agree that we need to step out of our comfort zone and spend a little bit money. I keep hearing all this. In fact, Real Tree just said our offensive line will be young. We need veterans. We need a few veterans on this offensive line because the guys that we do have that you could put into the veteran category they're not doing nothing. 2nd, 3rd stringers at best. And we can't stay healthy to save our life. But going into next year, the best scenario is give Mason the keys, see what you really can get out of a guy, give him a full season. And God forbid if he stinks it up like everyone thinks he will. Now you're in position to go out the following offseason, and hopefully there's a guy there in the draft that you can put your caps on, man. Mason's under a 1-year contract. And personally, I really do think this is going to be the scenario. Steel Twin says, I wouldn't give Mason the job, but he'll get the chance to start as he should. I'm on the same train. But I disagree with the first part of that sentence. I would give Mason the job. Because this season, in one game, he had 277 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He's also shown you in the last game that he can be mobile. He absolutely can be mobile. And actually, those stats are a little skewed because the 277, some of that is from the previous game. Maybe they bring back a few, I don't know, Joshua Dobbs. I don't know if you bring him back to compete. I don't know if Joshua Dobbs is a guy that we can really count on. Dwayne Haskins is still a mystery, although I'm not one of those Steelers fans that throws Dwayne Haskins into the trash can. In fact, him and Mason Rudolph, in my opinion, are in the same boat for me. If the Steelers were to go with either one of those options, yeah, I would be okay with it. Because I just don't think it's a good idea to go out and get a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who's at the tail end of his career and still productive, but you don't have the cap space to fix all the other options. And now you're just stuck with another aging quarterback who's going to continue to decline. And who's to say that he would even fit with our Steelers offense? And it's way too soon, honestly, to really dictate other guys coming in because we don't even know if the Steelers are going to keep Canada around heading into next season. These are just unrealistic thinking. It's just unrealistic thinking as we have 2 games left in the season. Well, as of right now, what we do know is we have Mason Rudolph under contract for 2022. And just basing off of these stats, if they give Mason Rudolph the opportunities to stretch the field instead of doing the game plan that Ben Roethlisberger was given, which is the dink and dunks, we saw that with Mason. We absolutely saw that, and we know damn well Mason could throw it down the field. May not be the prettiest passes. May not be Ben Roethlisberger in his prime where he's throwing spirals. But I think if they fix all the other holes around the quarterback position, we can do enough to be competitive. And who knows, maybe Mason surprises everybody. But what you don't do is go out and spend half your cap on an Aaron Rodgers, who's aging himself. Real Tree says, here's the silver lining about Rodgers. He may drag Davante Adams with him. Absolutely. But then if you're the Steelers, you sign Rodgers, you sign Davante Adams. What cap space do you have left after that to sign a quality offensive lineman? Or hell, the defensive line. The defensive line is very bad right now. And in the coming weeks, we will be doing some mock draft stuff. We'll really start digging into the mock drafts. And just to give you guys a head up, I have decided that for the Ravens game, I'm actually going to not be streaming that game, the last game of the season, unless the Steelers make the playoffs. I'm going to be stepping away to take a mental break, a very much needed mental break to kind of evaluate some things within myself. I got a lot of stuff going on with my actual business that I haven't really been giving too much attention to because I've been trying to build this channel up. And Twins, they're in the chat. They'll tell you guys that on a personal level, I have many discussions with them. They know how passionate I am about doing this. I enjoy talking about the Steelers, but at this point, I feel like after Monday, and I'll probably do, one more Kold Steel show before I go on a short hiatus. But just trust and believe it's very needed. Sean with the $5 says, I would draft Jordan Davis first round and take Kenneth. Is it Kenneth? I can't pronounce names. Kenneth Walker second if he's there to pair him with Najee 1-2 punch. start Mason, sign a center in free agency. It's a very good option. It has to be a quality center, though. And we're also going to be talking about free agency as well, because that'll be important. That'll definitely be important. And by the way, as far as the Ravens game, I'll more than likely probably jump on my brother's stream because I know he'll be streaming that. So at the very least, if you guys want to hear my reactions, you probably can come over to my brother's channel. So, Trey says draft the center first round, Tyler Linderbaum. Honestly, that wouldn't be a bad thing. In fact, he's one of the guys that I'm going to be really looking into in the next week or two to kind of see like what his style of center is. You know, just seeing some of the traits, some of his background, all that kind of stuff. See how he did in college. See if he would even fit in our system. Those are things I'm going to be looking into. But yeah, moral of the story is, in regards to these two topics, because they kind of go together, Ben somewhat announcing his retirement, which, let's be honest, he did. It is, in a way, bittersweet, I guess. Bitter because even though I have my personal issues with Ben, I can't deny the fact that he is a Hall of Famer. And he is the statistically best quarterback the Steelers have ever had. So that's the bitter part. The sweet part is we finally get to see the unknown going forward, which is something I've been striving to see for a while now. Believe it or not, I know some people find that crazy, but I just don't think Ben at this time in his career is the guy that's going to get it done. So it's time for this team to finally start looking for the future. Because I think we all can agree, at least as of now, as much as I love Mason Rudolph and I like the potential, there's not enough evidence to suggest that he's the future of the Steelers. There's just not enough evidence. When you look at the entirety of 3 seasons, one of which, 2019, was the year where Ben was out. He played in 10 games, and he was only able to come up with 1,700 yards. He was benched for a guy named Duck Hodges. So, I mean, there's just not enough evidence to really sit here and say he's the future. But I do think he's the transitional quarterback to get us to that point. Sean, with another $5 says, can we trade Canada for a 7th? I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Although, I mean, you're not going to get much out of a 7th rounder unless you get lucky. Real Tree says, I mean, Linderbaum is technically a Steeler. Iowa's uniform. Yeah, I see what you did there. That is true. That is true. But I definitely want to dig more into, you know, everything related to him and other players as well. And if you guys have any suggestions for guys that you want me to do mock drafts or player profiles on, definitely let me know in the comments when the video or when this live stream's done. And I say do it in the comments because I'll be able to come back and see what you guys are suggesting. So definitely keep that in mind. Steel Twin says Linderbaum better be our number 1 pick. Twins, you remember, man, I said who I wanted last year. Creed, man. I said I wanted Creed, and look, it didn't happen. Ended up arguably being the number 1 center in the league this year. So, it is what it is, man. With that said, let's quickly go over the Steelers and Browns Monday Night Football. Ben Roethlisberger's last home game, unless the Steelers find a way to win the division, which I believe is going to require us to win out and the Bengals to lose out and a few other things that happen. But let's look at the injury report. Now, keep in mind, it is Thursday, so things can change. But when it comes to the Steelers, the only person they have listed out is Arthur Mullet. And Ben is questionable for whatever reason. Let's be honest, he's playing. Pat Freiermuth, I believe, confirmed on Instagram that he will be playing Monday night. Kendrick Green, I'm sure, is going to play, and Buddy Johnson. Whereas the Cleveland Browns, they have 5 players questionable. Kareem Hunt, the most notable outside of Greg Newsome. Malik Jackson, the defensive tackle, but everybody is questionable. So, I mean, as far as injury report goes, I think both teams are coming into this one a little healthy. So it's going to be one of those games that isn't going to be a pushover. Both teams are fighting for the same thing. I think the Browns are more playing to be the spoiler in this situation. And the one thing they would love to do is to beat Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers at Heinz Field. With Ben coming out this week saying that this could be it. So trust and believe this is not going to be an easy game. And as much as myself and everyone else is saying that the Steelers should win and we think they will, we have to be honest and be a little bit more realistic here. This team can beat us because of one simple thing, and I've been saying this for weeks. Our defensive line cannot stop the run. And the one thing that this team has is quality running backs. Nick Chubb, already over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns on the season. In comparison to Najee Harris, just to show you there, look at the difference between carries. Najee Harris is at almost 300 carries and is under 1,000 yards. So don't go into this game thinking the Steelers are just going to kick ass because of Ben. This is going to be a battle. And ironically, it falls on Monday Night Football. So I think the NFL knew what they were doing in this situation. But the keys to victory for this team going into Monday, the Steelers have to do what I've been saying for weeks. Take care of the football. Stretch the field with Ben. I don't know. There's rumors that Ben's going to be controlling the offense. We'll see if that makes a difference. Spoiler alert, I don't think so. Steel Twin says, and Chubb missed 4 games, top 2 running back. Yeah. And that's scary because our team cannot stop the run. And if the Browns are smart, that should be their strategy. Which brings me to my point. If the Steelers are going to win this game, not only on offense do they have to stretch the field and be aggressive, and our receivers, Deontay Johnson, need to catch the ball when it's thrown to them. Chase Claypool, you have to win those 50-50 balls if we're going to win this game. You need to step up. Ben has to not make the mistakes that he has in the past in crucial situations. And Najee Harris, more importantly, needs 20 carries plus. If you don't give Najee Harris 20 plus carries in this game, that's going to be a problem. But you can't just give Najee Harris 20 carries in the game and not stretch the field, because then the defense is going to stack the box, and neither sides of that realm is going to work. Your passing and rushing game is not going to be productive. Because if you're just throwing these screen passes left and right and you're trying to run the ball as well, it's not going to be successful because the defense knows they don't have to worry about behind them. Now, on the defense, we need to stop the run. It's the same fucking record playing over and over again since mid-season for me. I'm getting very tired of saying this, and I'm looking forward to not saying this during Ravens week. Honestly. Stop the run. Make sure you cover the middle of the field because teams seem to like that area of our defense. Corners need to be playing lights out. Joe Hayden needs to be better. Yes, I said it. I know he's old. He's getting slower. It's got to be a little bit better. And overall, the entire team needs to put their heads down and stop celebrating when your team's down. Although your team shouldn't be down in the first place, honestly. And Jesse, I see you in chat, bro. I agree with you 100% about Witherspoon. Witherspoon is one of the few players I'm excited for next year. I am very impressed with what he's done, and I want to see what he can do going forward. If the Steelers decide to sign him, which I think they will. Because the last thing you want to do is allow Witherspoon to go, which honestly I could see it happening, but I hope not. You don't want to keep creating more holes. And I think Witherspoon would be a guy that you can bring back fairly cheap. So, Steelers re-sign Witherspoon. I think that would be a great option. And honestly, it would allow them to not focus as much on that position. They can go get another free agent maybe. Hell, maybe even draft a guy. But the Steelers and Mike Tomlin specifically, not very good at drafting cornerbacks, so not sure if you want to go that route. Jesse says Ben probably will be in shotgun all night long, not going to lie. I mean, if it's his game plan, that might be true. That might be true. And I would be kind of okay with that if they stretch the field. If they get away from this, having Claypool doing the reverse handoffs or the play actions, I'm so sick of it. We saw that last season, which is why I don't understand why we bring in Canada and he's running the same system that we ran last year. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. And I honestly feel like those offenses were put in place to help Ben. But, and this actually ties into the whole Aaron Rodgers signing that some people are dreaming of. You're not going to be able to bring that or sign that guy because we have to re-sign some of our own. Guys like Minka, they're due. You want to bring back a guy like Witherspoon, in my opinion. And I'm sure there's many other guys on the list that should be brought back. But on the flip side of that, we also have guys that are probably going to be leaving. Ben, we already know. And honestly, I think Tuitt's gone. So that's going to free up some space. I could see the Steelers maybe making some out-of-character trades this offseason. I don't know. It's going to be fun. You know, a lot of people seem to put this as such a negative thing that we're heading into, and I'm kind of being more optimistic about it. The only argument that I'm having in this situation is the team's got to do the right things for this to work out. They got to do the right things for everything to make sense in these situations. Bring certain guys back, make good free agent signings, be aggressive, have a much better draft than you did last season. Don't draft a cornerback, Tomlin. We don't need another Artie Burns. Trey says Zach Banner getting paid damn near 10 million. He's got to go. Get him out of here. I don't care how many bicycles he rides in Pittsburgh and how many old ladies he walks across the street. I do not give a fuck. That's been my stance with Juju. I do not give a fuck. Great. He's a great human being. Cool. But I'm a Steelers fan. And I care about this team winning. All that other shit's extra, man. Honestly, I hate when people put such a fucking magnifying glass on that. Like being a good human being should be this thing that you should be that by default. I mean, yes, I would take a Juju Smith-Schuster maybe over Antonio Brown at this point, but I don't know, man. Jesse said, I'd love to see Juju back on a similar deal to this season. I could see that happening. Maybe another 1 year, small contract. Juju came back last season, but the question is, would he come back now? After many Steelers fans have given him shit, Ben's not coming back. Let's be honest. He came back for Ben. Juju came back for Ben Roethlisberger, not necessarily the Steelers. I think Ben had a big part in that. Trey says Juju $7 million 1-year deal. I would be, we'll see what they do. Yeah, we can't, Mac Man, I agree. We can't draft corners, man. I want to see them go out in free agency and figure something out there. And the only reason I would say bring Juju back is it goes right to what I was saying earlier. Don't create more holes. You don't want to have more holes for us to plug. But those are my thoughts on Big Ben calling it quits. Mason not being that bad. I think he's the transitional guy that we need. He knows this offense. I don't think the Steelers are getting rid of Mike Tomlin, so he knows his coaching. Maybe I don't know what they're going to do with Canada, but we'll see. But yeah. Viewer says, who is some corners that are going to be free agents? That's going to be a separate either video or stream that I'm going to be doing in the next few weeks. We're going to pull up the whole list. I want to wait to the end of the regular season to get into those discussions. Because the thing is, the people that are going to be free agents now may not be that come the end of the year. So a lot of things could change. It's really too early to kind of look at free agents at this point. Because teams are going to re-sign guys and stuff like that. So, but either way, we'll be doing content on that stuff as well. That said, I think I've been going for at least over 30 minutes now. I don't know exactly. But I got everything I wanted to get off. I will be taking a short break over the weekend, obviously. There's no football for the Steelers Sunday. I actually went over my time because I want to watch the Pitt-Panther game, which is already on. It's been on for 35 minutes now. In fact, it is tied up. It is tied up 7-7. And I'm just very interested to see how this game goes. So I'm actually going to get off here. There's 5 minutes left in the damn first quarter. Before I get out of here, I got to say I appreciate everybody that showed up tonight. Steel Maiden, I saw your message. I will get back to you. I think you said Twitter. I'll have to check my DM. So if Maiden's still in here, I will get back to you. And Danny said thanks for... I was supposed to stream it tonight, but I decided I wanted to just kind of enjoy it privately with the wife. Sit back, watch the game, enjoy ourselves. But, yeah, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure you hit that like button before you leave, as it helps the channel, helps the video, everything like that. Follow me on Twitter for all my shit takes at Kold Steel 412. You can follow me on Instagram, although I'm not very active on there. And I guess I will be seeing you guys Monday night for Ben Roethlisberger's last game at Heinz Field. By the way, I don't know if anybody noticed the background changed. I had to show some love to my boy Venom. As you guys, I have a lot of the original Venom comments, including the first one at the top there, as well as Spider-Man in the background. I actually just got that framed. But anyways, let me get off that. I will see you guys Monday nights for Monday Night Football, Steelers-Browns. And I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Go Steelers. The future isn't dark, people. It's exciting times. And we're going into a new era, which has been a long time in the making. And I think we should embrace that and have our hopes up high for the best, as this team is going to be trying to rebuild itself to get back to a competitive state. And it may take a few years to get there, or maybe next year something happens. But for now, let's enjoy Ben's last two games, specifically Monday night. And I'll be live. that said, if I don't see you guys on Twitter, Happy New Year's to everybody. And I'm glad Joseph said that because I actually forgot. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. And I will be bringing in the new year with my brothers, the Steel Twins. So, twins, if you're still in the chat, I am confirming right now that I will be over so we can play NHL 22 and Sega Genesis, as well as Super Nintendo. And I will be bringing in the new year sober. That's right. I've been bringing in the new year sober for many years now, and I'm enjoying that. And also, before I get off here, I know I said I was getting off here, but it's no secret I'm a big guy. But I'm happy to say that I got myself on a diet about roughly 3 weeks ago, and I lost a good significant amount of weight already just based on a diet. And I'm excited to see what next year brings for me as I continue to strive to get myself in much better shape. And yeah, you guys enjoy yourself. Happy New Year's in advance. Don't do anything stupid. Bring in the new year the right way. Be safe out there. Go Steelers. And I'm out.
You've been listening to the Kold Steel Show. Be sure to like and subscribe for more unfiltered Pittsburgh Steelers commentary. You can find the Kold Steel Show on all major audio platforms. Links down below.